Onto the digital color meter now, and I must say I do feel a little bit stupid because I think I've used 3 different applications in the last year to do exactly what was actually built in macOS all this time. It lets you point at any pixel on your screen and instantly read its exact color value. You can see as I move the cursor around, those RGB values are changing. And when you need to have specific colors in your documentation or application, this is a really useful utility. So let's say I want the exact color that's being used in the Claude icon down here. What I can do is I can press Command and L, and that will now lock this into place. This will allow me to move my cursor around and nothing will change. And if I come up to color in the menu bar, you'll see there are keyboard shortcuts as well to copy the color as text or as an image. If I press Command L again, that's going to unlock. And you can also lock either of the axes as well. So if I come down here over this Super Whisper icon, if I press Command and Y, that locks the digital color meter on the Y axis at the moment. And that means if I move up that Y axis, you don't see very much change at all. Whereas if I move along the X axis, my preview is showing those pixels directly to the left or right of where I locked the Y axis. And then I'll press Command and Y to unlock. And of course, if you press Command and X, that's going to do the same. It's just going to lock the X axis instead. I'm moving across the X axis here with very little change whatsoever. However, if I move up and down, of course, we see those changes. You can change the aperture size with this slider. And then there's a drop down here that allows you to change the different values that are displayed here. Then, if we come up to the View menu bar, as I come down, you'll see that you can change the magnification, and there are also keyboard shortcuts to do that. So we're currently 8 times magnified, which is what you're going to need most of the time. However, if you do want a slightly smaller magnification, you can use the keyboard shortcuts to do so. I'm going to go back to 8 times there though. Then back in the View menu here, you can choose how the values are displayed. So the default is decimal, but if you want hexadecimal displayed, then you can do so. Then another really useful option is if you need to identify the mouse location or coordinates. Just set this, and let's say I need to know the mouse coordinates for the center of the green traffic light button here. Well, now I can see them. So this digital color meter for some of you is going to be a really valuable tool that you may not have even known was there. Now, Magnifier was added as a standalone utility in macOS 26 Tahoe. It uses your Mac's camera or an iPhone or an external camera to magnify and interact with text and objects in the real world. It's been available on the iPhone for a long time and now it's on the Mac. It's not something I use very often, but I can see it does have its use cases. So Magnifier is open, and what we have to do is I'm just going to expand this window a bit, see a little bit more. So it's currently using my iPhone camera at the minute that I've just got on a mount. It's facing away from me. You'll see the magnification level up here that you can reduce to zoom out. You can move the image around here on the canvas. And then of course the quality of the zoom is going to depend on the device that you're using. But I would have struggled to read the text in the middle of the photos on the left there without magnifying this in. Then if I just pan my way across here, I can see that for some reason I've left the breakfast biscuits box there on the shelf. And if I want to see exactly which ones they are, I can zoom in and zoom back out as needed. Now, if you want to capture the image at any point whilst you're magnifying, you can click on the capture button. And if you need to capture another one, just zoom and pan, get it how you like it, and click capture again. And you'll see that they appear in the sidebar and you can click between them as needed. Now, if you're recording or doing presentations, the magnifier can help you if you have it over your desk. You'll see as I zoom in here on this bottle of hand sanitizer that I have, it's very, very clear. So this can be useful for zooming in on information that's hard to read, like a serial number or instructions that are incredibly small. If there's text in the image, you can click here to show the detected text. I'm hoping this improves though in the next OS because I don't think it's good enough even for me to demo at the moment. Then on the far right, you can apply some filters. Now it does say they're loading, but I think they're actually done. If I click on this red one down here, we can see that applied. And there are different filters that might make it easier to identify or read certain images. And you can also manually adjust the brightness and the contrast with these sliders here. If you need to change the camera that's being used as the source, click on camera up here. And then you can see lots of the image settings in this menu item here as well. Now, screen sharing is the utility that lets you view and control another Mac on your network from your desk, another room, or anywhere over the internet. It can be used for helping a family member with their Mac without you having to leave your chair, or, as I do, accessing a headless Mac in another room. I'm just going to demonstrate this functionality here. If I click on Network, I can see my Mac Mini here. It's called Ant-Man because it's mini, go figure. Then in here, I'm going to click Connect. I need to type in my username and password for my user account on the Mini, which I'll do. And here I've got two options. So the top one is going to ask for permission to view the display. So if you're connecting to a headless device, then this is not going to work for you on account of the fact there's going to be a pop-up window that someone needs to click to approve. And there'll be no way to click it in that instance. What you're going to have to do is log in with the user account that you've just authenticated with. I can see my Mac Mini on the other side of the room though today, so I'm just going to give my device permission here. And here is my Mac Mini desktop. I occasionally use this device for doing some post-production work on the videos, and it runs all the backups as well for ScreenCastsONLINE. So it's important I can get to it when I need it. You'll see I'm in control of it at the moment. I can move stuff around on the desktop. If I come up to view, I can stop myself having control by switching it to observe mode. So if I'm watching a family member and I need to try and guide them, I can see exactly what they're doing here. Then if I do need to take over and help them out, I can simply switch it back into control mode here. At the top here, this button opens up the application launcher. Then this one shows my desktop spaces. And if I've got Windows open on my desktop, this button on the far right moves everything out of the way to show the desktop behind it. You can zoom in and out of the desktop with these buttons here. And then this one in the middle will display the actual size. Now, quite often you'll need to copy something from your source device across to the device that you are watching or controlling. So it's important to have the shared clipboard enabled. In the View menu, you'll see there's quite a lot of options here that you can use. So you can turn scaling on, you can change the quality of a display. Down here, you can go to mission control as well as have the shortcuts for the app windows, the desktop and the apps. And if you want to have accessibility options turned on for the shared machine, you can do so here. Now, screen sharing is a great built-in utility that can really help you out or help your family members out when needed. Now, almost every Mac user takes screenshots at some point, but very few know there's a dedicated screenshot app living in the utilities folder. Let me just come down and just move this window up here. So our different capture options are displayed. We can capture the entire screen, the selected window, or capture a selected portion, which is what is currently set to here. Then to the right of that, we've got some recording capabilities as well. We can record the whole screen, we can record a window, or once more, record a portion. So capturing the entire screen is very easy. I'll just click. As I move my cursor away, you can see it turns into a camera. So I'll just click again. I can click anywhere because I'm copying the whole screen. And then down in the bottom right, I can see the preview, which I'll click on to open. And then from here, I can make some changes, some annotations if I wish, or if I just close, you can see that it's saved to my default location of the desktop. I've got a few more windows open here to show the next option, which is capturing a selected window. If I click on this, of course, we've got a camera again. And as I move between the windows, you can see them highlighted. And as I click one and then click on the preview in the bottom right-hand corner, this time it's only captured the contents of that window. There's no cruft or noise from around it. Next, we have capturing a selected portion. This allows you to be laser focused and get exactly the area of the screen that you want. Just resize, drag it around, get it where you want it. Then click on the capture button and you'll see that we now just have a dedicated portion of the screen. Now there are some options that we can set here. So at the top, you can change where the screenshots are going to save to. It's a desktop by default, but you can change it to Documents, Clipboard, Mail, Preview, or somewhere else. You can set a timer to count down, which can be useful when you need to start an action going before the screenshot takes place. If you don't want that floating thumbnail appearing in the bottom right-hand corner, you can uncheck it. And also it's set to remember the last selection, which usually works for me, but you can uncheck it if you don't want that. If you want to have HDR images, you can change that here. And if you need the mouse pointer to be shown in the screenshot as well, where relevant, then you can select that at the bottom here.